everybody, how's it going? My name is Storytelling Vlaire, and I'm here to give you guys a storytelling review. This week we're going to be doing Wonder Woman, Earth 1, written by Grant Morrison and Yannick Petit. This story is an origin story for Wonder Woman, so it feeds into the month of Wonder Woman thing I'm doing. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this review. Okay, so we start off the story with Hippolyta versus Hercules. Hercules is trying to make the Amazons submit to his will. He's trying to turn them into sex slaves. This is great because it shows why the Amazons hate men. It's the entire driving force of the story. Understanding that the Amazons absolutely hate men. And it's really effective. You see him beat the Amazons into submission until eventually they revolt and they take him out and they actually kill him. And it's really great. It's really great and kind of gory, to be honest with you. So the plot's really simple. Basically, Diana is a free spirit and she wants to leave the island. She was born onto this island. Everyone else is 3,000 years old. She's probably like 1,000 years old or 2,000 years old. And she's been there and she has never experienced man's world. She wants to get out. She wants to experience it. She wants to live her life. Now, where we actually kick off in the story is Diana is on trial. She's on trial being held by the Amazons because she ventured into man's world without anyone's permission. She stole a jet and she took a man off the island and brought him back to man's world. Big deal, I know, men are disgusting, it's great. So while on the island, it's established that Diana has superior genetics compared to everybody else for some reason. That plays in later, or that's revealed later in the plot. And it's really great because Diana is forbidden from playing any of the trials or any of the games like the rest of her sisters. Now, when she stumbles upon Steve Trevor, she immediately enters the game. Her mother tells her no, and she wins naturally because of her superior genetics. Diana takes the jet, she takes Steve Trevor, puts him on the ship, they fly away. Her mother realizes, wait a minute, a man had to have landed on the island. Stop Diana. That's where the story kind of kicks off. So when Diana leaves, Hippolyta, she's worrying to herself that her daughter is going to man's world to be with a man and to submit to their will. She's worried about this because she doesn't want her daughter to be enslaved like she was to Hercules. This is awesome. That's a new word. Awesome. This is awesome. Now, another thing that Grant Morrison and Yannick Petit play around with is the original elements of Wonder Woman. From her costume, from Beth's design, or Etta Candy as you'd probably know her better from the last review, and some story elements such as bondage. In case you didn't know, Wonder Woman was really associated with bondage in the 1940s. Fun fact, look up any of those covers, you'll constantly see her being, tied together. And as you can tell, this story really plays with that idea. So I think it's kind of interesting because they're going back to her roots and they're playing with what the original author came up with for this character. And it actually kind of works. It doesn't come off as obnoxious. It kind of adds to the story and it's a part of her culture. That's what the story kind of describes as time goes on. Now, Steve Trevor. There's nothing really special about him, but after reading the whole story, you begin to actually like him. He's a normal guy. Again, there's really nothing special about him, but for whatever reason, you really relate to the guy and you really understand the guy. He actually has some heart, he has some morals, and he reveals that as the story continues on. He's not trying to get into Diana's pants, and he's not throwing around dick jokes. It's great. What else could you want? Now, Diana's first reaction to man's world is really powerful. She busts through the hospital doors. She hands him Steve Trevor. He's dying, and the doctors quickly take him. They're like, "Okay, we got this under control." She goes into a room and she sees a bunch of women. They're all on medication. They're all dying, and she immediately freaks out. She's like, "What is going on? What has man's world done to you guys?" Like they're all like 5 foot tall. Some there's like a brittle old woman just laying there. She's on her deathbed. She's getting ready to pass away. Diana walks up to her and is like, Sister, what's wrong? What's wrong?" And the old woman's just like, "Oh, an angel is here to see me." And she ends up passing away before Diana's eyes, and Diana starts crying. She realizes, "Oh my God, my mom is right. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here in man's world." So she runs out, and immediately she's met by the military. And they're telling her, "Hey, stop, man, we gotta take you in. Who the hell are you? How do you know about that secret mission that Steve Trevor was on?" And she freaks out, so she picks up a Jeep. All of the men have no idea what to do. The commander's pissed. He's like, someone apprehend her. And all the women are just laughing because it's like, oh, here's this woman dressed up like this, picking up a military jeep and just like, get away from me. She puts it down, she runs away, gets into her jet, flies off. She's getting ready to return to Themyscira. So we're introduced to Etta Candy, or I mean Beth Candy. She's not really interesting. There's not much to her, and she's a Southern belle. She's kind of obnoxious, and me personally, I don't like this interpretation of her. Now, this draws from the original idea of Elizabeth Candy. It draws from the original idea of her just not really being a part of the military or anything. She's Diana's best friend who goes into combat situations, even though she's just a normal little overweight girl who just participates in these silly like fight scenes with Diana. I thought it was clever how they brought her into the story, showing or having her show Diana man's world from her point of view. And in that case, it's really cool because Diana actually gets to make a friend, and they relate, kinda, not really. It's interesting, but I don't really care for this interpretation of Etta Candy. So as the story continues on, Etta and Diana find themselves in a hotel room. Trevor's staying there as well. They're being held by the military. It's nothing bad. They're just kind of holding them for the time being until the military can figure out what to do with Diana. So the girls decide to give Diana a makeover. They decide to give her they give her a really tight shirt. They give her some underwear bottoms, and they basically make her costume for her. And they give her lipstick and whatnot, which is really cool because at the beginning of the story, when she arrives on Themyscira again after coming from man's world, the Amazons come up and they just wipe her lipstick off, and they're like, "What the hell is this? Are you trying to make yourself pretty to look, for men? Or are you trying to like lower yourself for men?" And Diana's like, "I have my reasons." Now, what I really like is by the end of the story, Diana reveals that she wants the Amazons to take a larger role in man's world. Diana wants to change man's world, and by doing so, she has to change the opinion of her sisters. And this is awesome. This is awesome because she demonstrates her point through Steve Trevor, showing that there's still hope in humanity, while also telling her mother that she can be more than just a weapon against them. She wants to spread truth, equality, and peace among man's world. And that is what Diana is. She is a force of good that she wants to unleash herself upon man's world. It's awesome. Trevor discusses with them that his people had been enslaved by man's world for a very long time, and how after meeting the Amazons, he actually feels free and empowered from man's grip, showing that not all men and people on man's world are bad, showing that there is hope and there is a reason why the Amazons should return. This is great. This is so great. This is the reason why Diana wants to return. She wants to become a superhero, like the Earth 1 Superman or the Earth 1 Batman. She has a purpose, she has a reason, and she's explaining this to her mom. Now, of course, her mom doesn't fully go with this because she doesn't want her only daughter, to go to man's world. Now, Diana asks her a very important question. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a big one. So by the end of the story, Diana makes her point very clear to her mother and to her sisters that she does not want to be a weapon to destroy man's world, but instead she wants to teach them peace, love, and equality, like the original morals of Wonder Woman. And it's awesome. This story understands who this character is. Although, she's sassy, she has personality, unlike the last story. She's a character, but at the same time, she wants to do good, and she wants to enter his man world with a purpose, with a reason. And this story is great for it. Oh, sorry, I'm still doing a review. Anyway, so I rate Wonder Woman Earth 1 a 9 out of 10. This is a very solid story, and anybody who's remotely interested in this story should pick it up, check it out. It's really cool. If it doesn't look interesting to you, then maybe you might not like it. That's kind of what this story boils down to, is your preference. If you like these sort of stories, then you're gonna like it. If you don't, then you don't. That's just kind of how it is. Otherwise, there's no real problems with this story. It's solid storytelling, and it's probably one of Grant Morrison's best stories, I would think. But anyway, so that's gonna be the end of this review. Next week, I'm going to be doing Wonder Woman, New 52. Not looking forward to that one. Anyway, guys, it's been fun, so I'll see you guys in the next video.